Thanks for checking out the Brad and John Show podcast. This segment of the show is brought to you by John Combest's book, Stalking, Harassment, Internet Trolling, A Guide to Recovering and Rebuilding After Online Attacks. It's a great reference if you've ever been the unfortunate target of a social media attack. It's available on Amazon. Just search John Combest. That's C-O-M-B-E-S-T, John Combest, and the book will show up in your search results. Now it's time for another segment of the Brad and John Show. Can you handle it?
It's me, Egbert, once again. I'm the new owner of this station. I went out and hired the best talk radio consultant, Jeff Allen from News Talk STL, and told him to hire the worst talent he could find. Jeff did exactly as I told him. Ladies and gentlemen, here are Brad and John.
That is us. And I always love it when he says the worst talent he could find. Boy, that always makes me feel good. After all these years in the radio business, I'm the worst talent. Right?
It's inspirational. And how about credit to me for blowing up our last segment? You had something at the very beginning you wanted to talk about, and then I just got us way off track, Brad.
Man.
It happens.
Here's something that, and once again, I've become very passionate about because of the fact that me being a North County guy and also a St. Charles County guy, there's going to be a group called Just Moms STL. You familiar with this group?
Dawn Chapman's group, of course.
Okay, and they're going to be, matter of fact, they were over the weekend at the Ward Chapel AME Church in Florence on Saturday. Just Moms, STL, and elected officials answering questions, provided resources that relates to fixing the problem that contamination in Coldwater Creek has caused. Once again, this dates back, and the movie, people know what the Manhattan Project is because it's been in the national focus with the movie, what's the name of that movie? Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer, yeah.
And because of the fact that this is stuff that happened in the St. Louis area, I believe as late or as early as the late 30s, but easily into the early 40s because of the fact that they were already refining uranium and things like that for the nuclear bomb. The Manhattan Project started, I have to go take a look at that. I think it started in 38 or 39, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, anybody in North County, and I think this came to light years ago, and John, I think you know the story, and tell me if I'm right or wrong, but it came to light, McClure High School graduation.
An alumni group, right?
Right, a Facebook page. It was like the McClure class of whatever, and they went to a reunion, and there were so many of the people there who had cancer or who had already died of cancer, and they started put together a map and showing where all these people who had lived, and most of them lived in proximity to Coldwater Creek. And once again, if you know the whole crazy thing with Coldwater Creek, it starts actually south of I-70, goes underneath 70, underneath the airport, and right where it comes out of the viaduct on the north side of the airport was where the dump was. Matter of fact, they still have closed McDonald Boulevard because they claim that they're rebuilding the bridge, air quotes, but they're really taking out all the dirt because there is no bridge there. There was a culvert.
No bridge.
There was no bridge there, and they're taking out all the dirt, and they've been working on that. If you know where the ABC athletic fields were, the ABC baseball fields, it was on the north side of McDonald, and the area where the guys walk around in moon suits is on the south side of McDonald, right on the northern edge of the airport. It's still crazy time, and I got to give Josh Hawley credit. He's really been on top of this, but man, he's getting his teeth knocked in on this. He is,
yeah. But every important issue that comes up, he says he's not going to vote for it unless he gets money for the radiation victims.
Right, exactly. And the crazy thing about this is, and you're good at names. I'm terrible at names. The lady in St. Charles County, what's her name? She's a state rep.
Trisha Bynes.
Right. She's very much. Is that who it is? I thought it was something with a W. No.
No, it's Trisha Bynes.
Okay, she's the one who's taken this on in St. Charles County because of the fact that a lot of this stuff ended up in St. Charles County in what was called the Weldon Spring Project along 94 just south of Francis Howell High School. And to this day, have you ever been in that place they built? They built this great big fancy building, which is nothing but you can go and tour it. I don't think anybody ever goes there.
No, I haven't. In Weldon Spring?
No, yeah. Well, no, it's actually technically, I don't think it's in Weldon Spring. That there is a city of Weldon Spring, but I think it's unincorporated St. Charles County. It's just to the south of the high school. As you're going down 94, you pass the high school, you pass the old State Highway Department garage, which is now St. Charles County garage, and then there's the big dome, which, by the way, did you know this little trivia fact? There's the big containment dome that has all the junk in it. Did you know when you walk to the top of that, you can actually walk to the top of that? That is the highest spot in St. Charles County. Did you know that?
I did not know that. I thought that would be at a dispensary, Brad.
John's always on top of this. Okay, now let me totally change course on this. Okay, once again, I'm a guy who has not extensive knowledge of, but interesting behind-the-scenes knowledge of reality TV and crazy stuff like that. Once again, one of my crazy claims to fame. As a matter of fact, this is actually sort of a funny story. This got me a 20-minute segment on J.C. Corcoran's show one time.
No way, really?
Yes, 20 minutes he interviewed me about this. And it's funny because he would recycle his reviews, and probably for a good 10 years after that, I would have people say, hey, I heard you on J.C. Corcoran's show the other morning. So,
well, what was it? Tell us what it was.
This was a story of me working as a crew member on the Publishers Clearinghouse Prize Patrol.
Yes. Now, I haven't heard this story since you told it on the air with Shelley, so I want to hear it again.
Well, I got a call one day from my old buddy Bill Kaufman, who I think he still does, runs a production company and has satellite uplink truck and done a lot of stuff. I think he still is the guy that does all the video and everything at Busch Stadium, and he used to have to contract with the fiber and all the broadcast companies when they would come to town to do different things. He would do it either on fiber or upload. He called me up, I don't know, maybe it was been like in June or maybe it was like right around in April, and he says, Brad, I got a strange request for you. There's going to be a day, and I don't know exactly when it's going to be, when I'm going to need you for the entire day. I'm going to need you to probably leave before the sun comes up, and I don't know exactly where it's going to be, but it'll probably be within a 100-mile radius of St. Louis, and you have to be at a crew call at 7 o'clock in the morning, and I will need you all day long, and it will probably be an easy 12-hour day, maybe even longer. Are you up for that? I go, yeah. And he goes, okay, I don't know what it's going to be, but I will call you and tell you. So a couple months go by, and one evening, I get a call from Bill Kaufman. Brad, tomorrow's the day. Okay, fine. I can do that. And he says, I need you at 7 o'clock at the Ramada Inn in Hannibal. So, okay, fine.
Wow.
So we go up to Hannibal. Anyway, it's a long, crazy story. So I was on the Publishers Clearinghouse Patrol, Prize Patrol, where we gave away money. And it turned into one of the most famous or infamous ones because the lady who was the recipient was actually not there. And it's sort of crazy because found out that the Publishers Clearinghouse, when they pull a winner, they actually hire private detectives to find where these people work and find out their schedules. So when they show up at their house, they'll be there, okay? So this didn't go quite right because the lady who was supposed to win the prize was a nurse, and she was working the day shift at some elderly home or rest home or whatever you want to call it, rehabilitation facility. And it turned out that she'd been asked to work a double, so she wasn't getting off at 3 o'clock.
Oh no!
So we go, and there's like 10 vehicles, an uplink truck and a satellite truck, and there's an audio truck and a video truck and a lighting truck and a generator truck, and so we all divert into a park in Louisiana, Missouri, where this took place.
Oh yeah, there's a river. A river runs through it, Brad.
Right next to it. So they're on the phone, feverishly determining what they're going to do. And anyway, long story made short, they decide that her daughter's at home, so they'll just give the prize to her daughter. So they knock on the door, and they knock on the door, and they knock on the door, and the woman comes to the door, and she's like 19, 20 years old. She's a knockout, and she's in a towel. She has no clothes on.
Oh, yeah,
she's
go on, Brad. I'm listening.
In the shower, and they got her out of the shower. Okay, so that became like a big deal, and it made all sorts of national publicity because most of the time, you remember those Publishers Clearinghouse, they open up the door, and it's like, oh, thank you so much. I've lived 92 years, and I'm so happy I'll be able to buy a new Corvette with this money. It's people who are like my age or older, okay? So anyway, I worked for him the entire day. So this got passed around by my brother, who worked with JC at the time, and JC calls me up, and he says, would you come on the air and tell that story? And I did. And it was sort of a fascinating story because all the crazy, weird behind-the-scenes stuff. And I actually met the guys, talked to them and had pictures taken with them. There was like a young guy, an older guy with gray hair who were in all the videos and the whole bit. And they were very nice. And it was just sort of a bizarre story. But JC had me on for like 20 minutes because he's fascinated by this. Okay, having said that, this is a long lead up to this. Did you see this last week where the Golden Bachelor is getting divorced?
No, I didn't see this.
This is so bizarre.
And the Golden Bachelor is, so I don't watch The Bachelor, but so I'm guessing, and why is he the golden one?
Because he's 70 years old, okay?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I'm unfamiliar with this.
Right. This is the thing where this is the first time where they had, normally it's like all these young dudes, these good-looking dudes, these stud-looking dudes.
Strapping young men.
And these beautiful-looking women. This was the Golden Bachelor. And the story they gave was he was a widow. And he hadn't dated since his wife passed away, and he wanted to have a new life with a new woman. So he's on the
because that'll end well.
Right, the Golden Bachelor thing. Okay, so his name is Jerry Turner. And her name is Teresa Nist, N-I-S-T. They married on national television in January, okay? In January of this year.
And does she get half his money? That's what I want to know.
So then last week, or was it the week before? Let me see when this article was. Let me pull this up again. This was April 25th, okay? They go on television. They go on Good Morning America to announce they're getting divorced.
Oh. After they had been together for that long?
Well,
that's so long. That's got to be hard on them.
One of the bizarre things is, why are they getting divorced? Because they get married, but they don't live together. Because he lives one place, he lives somewhere in the country, and she lives somewhere else. So they got married, and they never moved in together.
And they also don't know each other, right?
Yeah, they know each other.
Well, but how many months did they know each other?
Well, I don't know. I mean, however long the show goes
3 months?
on. I don't know how long it is.
So it's not very long. Brad.
Okay, yeah, here we go. Turner currently resides in Indiana, while Nist lives in New Jersey.
Oh, that'll work.
Right. And here's the caption, the picture. There's a picture of them together, and it says, Jerry Turner shared that given their living situations and other factors, he and Teresa Nist recognized the best thing to do was go their own separate ways. After 3 months, Nist added, we have received so much love and support from so many people who watch The Golden Bachelor. I don't think we can tell you how many people told us that it gave them so much hope. We want none of that to change for anybody. So much hope. You get divorced after 3 months. How is that giving anybody hope? Most people go like, well, that didn't work. That was a stupid idea.
Exactly. Although it's a good path if you're a guy and you want to lose half your assets within a year. Like you could invest in some fly-by-night company. Or you could go on a show and not have a prenup and lose half your money.
Now, here's the interesting thing. It came out that the show played it up, the fact that, oh, he's a widow, and he was so much in love with his wife, and she passed away, and he's not had any person in his life since his widow. Well, that turned out to not be true because he had a girlfriend, and in the story it says, the couple reiterated that the previous allegations made by a supposed ex-girlfriend of Turner's did not contribute to the demise of their relationship. And it says, before the highly anticipated finale in December, the Hollywood Reporter highlighted inconsistencies in Turner's portrayal on the reality show, predominantly about his employment history and his dating life. At the time.
I mean, first of all, Brad, if watching any show like that, if you assume that it's all a shoot, if you assume that it's all true, like you might as well just watch wrestling. Right. Because you're going to embellish the storyline, and I'm sure maybe he was a widow, but the idea of, and he's never been able to find anyone, but maybe we can get him hitched for at least 3 months.
I'm going to pull that quote from you, John.
Thanks. Yeah, please do.
That was a great quote. I'm going to flag that and pull that quote. I'm going to put that as a drop because it is so true. And once again, it's to the point where watch the PawnStars, okay? A guy brings in a 1922 Elkhart, Indiana, less than 3 made left-handed monkey wrench, and all of a sudden Rick knows everything there needs to know about every monkey wrench that was produced.
These were originally made, and I can tell that this is not real because of the whatever.
Right, right. And he always knows a buddy. Well, I got a buddy who's right down the street.
He happens to be an expert on sports signatures, right. And he knows that Roger Clemens used a big looping R, not a little R.
Right. It's like
off the top of his head. And
Right.
And his buddy just happens to be in the store and can come on down. You know?
Right. Matter of fact, it's like it's to the point where like all the reality shows. I told you the goofy story when I was out at T.R. Hughes Park when they had when what's his face? Who was the Cardinals guy? God,
DeWitt or Mosaic?
No.
Or
The number 5. What was his name?
DeWitt?
DeWitt? The player, the home run guy.
Albert Pujols.
Albert Pujols. Okay.
Yeah,
Albert Pujols.
They had a big promotion out there, right?
They had at the time, Shaquille O'Neal had a show called "Can You Do What Shaquille Can Do" or something like that. And every week he was like pitted up against other people to do things, and that was the particular one. He came to St. Louis, T.R. Hughes Ballpark out in O'Fallon, to have a home run hitting contest where Albert Pujols. So I'm there. I saw this with my own 2 eyes. A limousine, they purposely would not let any of the stands to the stadium. They wanted everybody outside. If you bid at T.R. Hughes, you know what I'm talking about. You're out there's a plaza out in front of the stadium there, and the gates are closed. And they did that on purpose because a limousine pulls up, and the door of the limousine opens, and out walks Shaquille O'Neal, and there's no reaction from the crowd. Well, the director yells, "Whoa, hold on a minute." And he chastised the crowd. "This is Shaquille O'Neal. And when he gets out of this limousine, you're supposed to yell and scream and yeah." So Shaquille O'Neal gets back in the limousine drives around the block, comes back into the parking lot, the door opens, and Shaquille O'Neal gets, Shaquille
And the
O'Neal.
crowd goes nuts.
The crowd goes wild. And I'm going like, yep, this is all fake, phony baloney stuff.
Well, and Shaquille O'Neal, Brad, as we wrap the show, he had one of my favorite rap albums in 1993, which was called Shaq Diesel, which I occasionally will still pump in my car. And I thought that was the best rap arrangement I had heard until I listened to This Week in Missouri Politics yesterday, and I heard Scott Faughn play a song that I think you're familiar with. How could people find it?
Fine. What are you talking about now?
Missouri times, chilling in the heat, Scott Faughn on the beat, feeling so complete. From the cities to small towns, we keep.
Are you talking about that one?
I am, Brad. And folks can go to johncombest.com today and find it, or they can go to our YouTube page, bjshow. That's DOTCO. bjshow.co on YouTube, and you can find it there too.
And he played that from his at the end of his show. What was that? Was the Saturday show? Was that?
It's a Sunday show every Sunday. Yeah, you can find a link to that show on my website today.
He played that as his out music, as his the extra music of his show on Sunday. I'm thinking about, you sent me the link, and I'm going like, man, we made the big time, didn't we?
Brad, you made the big time. That is mixed and produced by none other than Brad Hildebrand.
That's right. Okay, John, it's time for us to get out of here. And as opposed to reality show, we really have to get out of here.
Bye, guys. See you tomorrow.
Thanks for checking out the Brad and John Show podcast. This segment of the show is brought to you by John Combest's book, Stalking, Harassment, Internet Trolling, A Guide to Recovering and Rebuilding After Online Attacks. It's a great reference if you've ever been the unfortunate target of a social media attack. It's available on Amazon. Just search John Combest. That's Combest, John Combest, and the book will show up in your search results. Now it's time for another segment of the Brad and John Show. Can you handle it?